Hello everyone and welcome to day 2 of Aromatisse Giratina. Now, yesterday we got one loss, one win, and honestly my attitude was not the best going into those games, especially the second one after what happened in the first one, although we managed to get a win in the second one after my opponent was using not a very competitive deck, to be honest. But let's see how we do today. We're up against a lightning fire colorless deck, which is interesting. I honestly don't know what combination of Pokemon. Perhaps Manectric Pyroar? Perhaps, yeah, there's Pyroar, okay. So Aromatisse might come in clutch in this match, and perhaps Hydreigon will as well, with its Shred attack, I believe it's called. There's Hydreigon and it is Shred, yeah. So I definitely have to take care. Oh, it's actually the Dene here. Huh. Interesting. Perhaps it's not Manectric. So we'll see how this goes. I'm guessing he runs both Pyroar. In the Mulligan we only saw the one that prevents basic Pokemon from attacking it, but I would definitely guess he's using the other one. Right off the bat he has 2 muscle bands and decides not to attach to the Dene, and then decides to do so. Now the Dene isn't really scary, but Pyroar definitely is, and our only defense against it is really Hydreigon, so we really need to make sure we conserve Hydreigon and possibly take KO on Litleos before they become Pyroars. Now, I don't know if attaching the muscle band is worth it to Hydreigon because Pyroar has 110 HP, so it'll be a 2-hit KO. Excuse me, no matter what, so I'm gonna attach it to Giratina. If we attack with Giratina, we might actually prevent DCEs from happening, which could be useful for us, and we do get an energy, unlike yesterday where we were really whiffing a lot of energies. Gonna Geomancy, that's the ideal thing you want to do, and I could potentially log stadiums and tool cards next turn, and I have the AC ready in order to recycle that Hydreigon. There's a DC in play, there's the first Pyroar. So my opponent is starting off really strong. What we need to do ourselves is make sure we get the best use out of AC and Versus Seeker in order to keep Hydreigon alive. That's the only way we are winning this game. Or this match, rather. Now, my opponent used Entrainment, so there's the other 2 Litleos, which means we might be in a bit of trouble. We can't take a KO now. I think I can sacrifice the energy in order to Rainbow Spear for a KO, especially since Pyroar won't be able to take a KO on us. So I am going to transfer the 2 basic. I mean, I don't really need more energy into play. I could Seeker for Birch, but not worth it in my opinion. I could use a Stadium for sure, and that's that's the card we get off our prices, so pretty good price there, pretty useful, because we will be able to absorb these hits with Xerneas and then come back and do our first attack on Pyroar. Now he's using this Entei in order to further power up. Touches manually attached another TCE, so does that mean he doesn't have any fire energies? Or he's fishing for the blacksmith? He does have the blacksmith, okay. So I was hoping, well, the damage on Xerneas will probably be relevant, but no damage is better than damage, you know? Doesn't discard the fire, which is pretty smart. He hasn't gotten another Pyroar into play. So I'm gonna use this opportunity, attack with Shred, and there might be instances where getting a KO with Aromatisse might be the smarter choice. We'll be doing 80 there, so it doesn't really matter. Entei has 120 HP. I'm gonna attach the Muzzle Band to Hydreigon just because. Gonna Trainer's Mail. Should I get the Fairy Garden? No, I'm gonna get the Versus Seeker. That means we have 3 ACs lined up already, which is pretty amazing. That means 3 hits from Hydreigon, at least 2 prizes on Pyroars before we'll be threatened with a KO on it. So that's pretty good. I'm now doubting if I should have kept on using Geomancy. My opponent retreats. He wants to get a fresh Pyroar. So he doesn't even want to let us draw any prize cards. The more energy he discards, the better for us, because he's wasting resources and not getting KOs. Now I attached the Muzzle Band last turn, and that was really silly of me, because I knew I was going to keep using AC on the Hydreigon. But yeah, another thing my opponent can do in order to stop our strategy is to get rid of the Fairy Stadium. That will force us to use Geomancy once again, because we won't be able to AC, promote something, and then retreat and promote Hydreigon back up. Now there's a Blacksmith, probably going to attach to a benched Litleo, I would expect, since both of these are going to get KO'd. My opponent has gone through a lot of the cards in his deck, and he still hasn't played another Pyroar, so there is a chance even 2 of them are prized, actually. So here I'm gonna do exactly the same thing, transfer the energy, Versus Seeker for an AC, promote Xerneas, bench Hydreigon, retreat once again, and transfer the energy. Now I would like to draw some sort of energy cards anytime soon, but another Versus Seeker guarantees another turn of us cycling through Hydreigon, and we get an energy off our prizes, so that opens up the ability to get a follow-up KO on with Aromatisse. But my opponent gets an Ace Trainer, plays it, we get the Stadium and a Fairy Energy card and an Ultra Ball, so we can recover from and get Shaman. I could risk taking a KO with Aromatisse. No, never mind. He has another Pyroar in play, so we have to keep that Versus Seeker strategy going. Now, I definitely want the Fairy Garden, so I am going to get rid of the Fairy Energy, get Shaman in order to draw 6 more cards, get the Versus Seeker, get another energy, but that one's not too useful since we won't be attacking with Giratina anytime soon. I guess in case he runs Enhanced Hammer or something like that. But yeah, it really is our only shot at winning this, is doing exactly what we're doing. Recycling Hydreigon and perhaps eventually attacking with one of our Aromatisse. But until we get more energy, I wonder if I should spend spend a turn in order to get more energy into play. I don't think that's the right choice. I think sticking to the offensive strategy is better. Gonna attack with 2 double dragon energies, just in case something weird happens. At this point it's better to lose those 2, since we will need Aromatisse to attack instead of Hydreigon. And here I am going to get the Sycamore, because I need to find more cards for next turn. Could possibly need to retreat in order to save the Hydreigon. He's down to 1 Lilio. So unless he plays Sacred Ash, and he didn't promote Pyroar, gets a Sycamore. If he plays it, we win. He might want to do damage now with the Dene. No, he just goes for another Ace Trainer. Okay. So that is troublesome, especially because he got that. Although we do have a 1 retreat cost, so it's not too terrible. He's gonna do damage with the Dene, that's fine, doesn't even put us, oh no, he does have a Muscle Band. But we got the AC, we top decked it. So our luck is definitely a lot better today. How many? We've spent 2 Versus Seeker and 2 AC, so we still have 2 more Versus Seeker we could potentially use to recycle Hydreigon. But this turn I'm simply going to attack with Giratina. I should have transferred this energy a long time ago in order to ensure I conserve it, because that Xerneas was at risk of getting KO'd. And off of our prices we get another Fairy Garden, so it's kind of lucky that both were priced, I guess. Not super lucky, don't get me wrong. In another situation where we wouldn't be drawing prizes as often, it would be quite unlucky for sure, but the fact that we did get it off of our prices is pretty good. Now we can afford not to AC this turn. I can simply retreat and play the Birch. We flip heads thankfully, and we get the Versus Seeker for next turn, which is great. Gonna attach another Fairy Energy to another Aromatisse, but actually I might want to transfer one of these to Xerneas and one of these to Shaman, because I'd rather at this point him get rid of an energy rather than an Aromatisse with an energy. And if he gets rid of an Aromatisse, we conserve both of our energies. Gonna do another Shred for 80 damage. So this has been the slow and steady game. We've been able to prevent my opponent from drawing any prize cards at all. He is going to Ace Trainer. Oh no, he's going to Blacksmith. Okay. So Blacksmith is an integral part of my opponent's strategy. He used it last turn on this Pyroar for some reason, which I do not understand. That's the last Muscle Band. No, but I still need to keep attacking with Hydreigon. I could attack with an Aromatisse, allow my opponent to take a prize card. If he has a Fire Energy or a DCE, which he's down to 1 DCE. And I do have the double Dragon Energies to conserve them. So to make this more cost efficient, I am going to attack with Aromatisse this turn. Still gonna AC the Hydreigon. Nope, not done yet. I'm gonna transfer this energy here. Now I'm done. And I even have... okay, no, never mind, because there's no Lysander in my discard pile. I was gonna say, I had the Versus Seeker to take a KO on Entei, but since there is no Lysander in my discard pile just yet, that's not an option. I will attach an energy here. I will transfer both of these to Hydreigon, because there's no way Hydreigon is getting KO'd. And I will take the KO with Fairy Wind. How often do you see this? Aromatisse taking KOs. That's pretty weird. Of our prizes we get another Fairy Energy, not too bad. There's another Blacksmith. My opponent is going to take the first KO, but just look at his deck. We could simply not attack and deck him out. There's no way he has something. Yeah, there's a victory. So we played this pretty smart. we were lucky that through our Sycamores we didn't get rid of AC or Versus Seekers, and despite being at one point with not too many energy in play, that recycling of Shred was helpful. Now I will say, if the single copy of Hydreigon had been priced, we would have lost pretty quickly, because Pyro would have just taken down Aromatisse left and right. Even if we were able to power up all 3 Aromatisse, we would have lost. So I'm very glad it didn't happen this time around. It's definitely a possibility, and it's something to consider. If Pyro is big in your area, you might perhaps consider going using a second Hydreigon EX in this deck. And yeah, that game actually lasted a lot. And now we're up against a pure Psychic deck, so I'm going to guess WoW-fed Crobats. We go second once again. Lucky Helmet. So my opponent's strategy is to draw a lot of cards, and wow, it's actually Gurgeist. Crobats. So it's gonna be a lot of damage counters really quickly. And no abilities for us. There's the Lucky Helmet. We did open up with a pretty good hand, I will admit. In terms of being able to power up this Giratina, but having to discard all of these resources with Sycamore, I guarantee will end up being like hurting us further down the road here. Gonna bench this guy, I'm gonna bench this guy. I can Lysander and get a Shaman next turn in order to draw more cards, hoping to get that second double dragon energy in order to start attacking with Giratina. And I am going to play the Stadium just because I might need to retreat, and if I attack with Giratina, I'll be able to lock down this Fairy Garden next turn. And I'll pass the turn. You're being recorded for YouTube. I like to tell my opponents that. Maybe make them nervous, make them misplay. So Pjenki 4, if you're watching, don't be nervous. And yeah, level ball for Golbat. No energy for my opponent and no supporter, which is definitely unlucky here. Now I can Lysander the Golbat and get Shaman, or I can Birch. But I think I'd rather Shaman here. So that's the third Versus Seeker, and I'm going to Ultra Ball the second AC, so we will only have access to a single AC during this game. That's probably going to be very rough on us if my opponent manages to start to get going. But if he doesn't, then we'll be pretty okay. Now, we do get Sycamore of this Trainer's Mail, but we have both Fairy Gardens in my hand. So I really don't want to get rid of them, just in case we have to use an alternate attacker here. My opponent promotes the WoW-fed with the Lucky Helmet. Is there something I want to take a KO on? Probably the Pump Kaboo, because without the support of damage counters, my opponent's WoW-feds are not threatening at all. He gets a Fan Club. I am avoiding this WoW-fed because of the Lucky Helmet. I don't want to give more cards to my opponent. I really don't. So we'll see here. He also has Gengar, so he has a lot of things. A lot of variety in his deck. Don't feel the need to use Sycamore just yet. I want to get a better feel of his deck, I guess. But I think if we always do attack with Giratina, I can safely get rid of these two. get our last Versus Seeker here. Yeah, it is the last. So now I'm even more tempted not to use Sycamore because we might want that Versus Seeker in order to be able to Lysander for our last prize. AC, something to prevent my opponent from getting a prize. Something like that. Versus Seekers for Fan Club once again. I don't know how many energies my opponent runs, but he's not getting any at all. Now with that second Giratina, I honestly feel pretty confident about this match. If he decides to retreat Gengar, oh, he has Super Scoop Up. Okay. So that was a good way to avoid some unnecessary damage. But all I have to do is attack and conserve this Versus Seeker in order to ensure we can get our last prize eventually. Gonna do 120 more damage. I don't see a way my opponent can come back. Gets another heads, so he is buying himself one turn every time he does this. But by taking a KO on Zubat here, he can't do the same thing. Next turn, says good job. Thanks. Sorry you got a bad hand. And yeah, all I have to do here is Lysander for a benched whatever, take the KO, and that will be all. That was quite quickly. So the video is 21 minutes long so far. I am going to play another match because that one didn't really showcase anything. Like, if my opponent had gotten a better setup, he would have made me reconsider benching all of those Pokemon because Gurgeist would have done a lot of damage. I would have not had access to abilities. Discarding all those Versus Seekers would have probably hurt us. And now we're up against a Volcarona Dark deck, so I'm guessing Tyranitar here, which I'm fine because my Xerneas has Dark Resist and Giratina cannot be touched by Mega Tyranitar. It could be Yveltal, of course, but there's no guarantee of anything. We go second once more. So I really would like to go first sometimes. That'd be nice. Those sleeves my opponent is using, I think, got released today. But yeah, that's not important. Turn 1 Wally, energy. So he's ready to Solar Burst the next turn. We have no way to stop that. And wow, he plays a red card. So if you've seen my previous videos, you know how much I like that card. Because all of us just assume a lot of the time it's gonna be difficult for your opponent to mess up your hand and the strategy you've got planned so far. But we are able to recover off of Shaman. Not gonna play Sycamore just yet. Gonna get energy into play through Geomancy. I might Sycamore next turn, but I have the Aromatisse in my hand, so if I hit a double Dragon Energy, I'll be in a pretty good position next turn. As I will take a KO on Volcarona, prevent any stadiums or tool cards from being played. And wow, is it actually Malamar? Come on. Is it Volcarona Malamar? Yep, there's the second Malamar. So I'm glad attaching from the deck doesn't put you to sleep. I am very glad about that. The Muscle Band. Do I want to conserve this Muscle Band? I'm gonna attach it to Xerneas just because. And I Sycamore. We don't hit the double Dragon Energy, so I'm simply going to attach and I will bench the Hydreigon and I'm gonna Geomancy once more. Attach to this guy and to this guy. Now, as long as we don't get put to sleep too often, we should be fine. And if I don't get something next turn, I'll probably take a prize with Xerneas on this Volcarona by using Rainbow Spear. I can afford the energy. His Heart Charm is nullified by my Muscle Band, but that is only if we wake up. My opponent promotes Malamar, I do not. Wake up. But odds are not in my favor, or in my opponent's favor, to take a KO on Giratina, but without the Sycamore, I mean without the double Dragon energy, we're not a threat just yet. I wish we could get Lugia out right now. That'd be pretty amazing. I'm very tempted to just AC and deal 80 damage with Rainbow Spear, although I don't think that will put us in any better position here. If I do 80, next turn I can potentially do 120 or 100 with Giratina. So perhaps it is. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Gonna transfer this Rainbow Energy. Done. Gonna AC the Xerneas, promote Shaman. Bench Xerneas. Actually, gonna no, never mind. I don't want to get rid of 3 energy from play. I can afford to discard 1. I can't afford to return 3 to my hand. That I definitely cannot do. And now I will Rainbow Spear. Discarding 1, that's fine. Odds are still not in my opponent's favor for him to get a KO on Xerneas. He needs all 3 heads. Gets a Shadow Circle, so that is a problem for sure. That is a big problem. Gets a DC on the bench Malamar. Hopefully we can wake up. 3 out of 3 heads. Because why not? Right? Why not? Top deck, a double Dragon energy, which I am very thankful for. And I'm gonna Ace Trainer my opponent. Can't believe he got 3 heads, but that happens. I take the KO, that's 1 Malamar down. We have the Versus Seeker for the AC, so that sleep is not an issue for us next turn. He can't. He gets the Enhanced Hammer. But he gets 3 tails. So that evens things out a bit. Now here, I think I'm just gonna Sycamore. I want another double Dragon energy. I do get it, thankfully. Gonna play this. I'm gonna attach another Muscle Band here, and now I do have the AC. Hopefully it doesn't have another Enhanced Hammer for my other double Dragon energy. But as long as we don't need to Sycamore and AC the same turn, we're okay. Yep, I stay asleep, but we have the AC. I mean, guys, do you seriously see how often I stay asleep? How often I flip tails? I'm not imagining things, am I? I mean, please tell me in the comment section down below if you think I'm overreacting in terms of my bad luck. But you can't tell me, there's a victory, you can't tell me my flips are 50-50, at least not during this 3-game session. And it might even out towards the end, and I of course remember more clearly the times I get tails rather than heads. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. 3-game episode. 3 pretty dominating games on our side against, I guess, not the most competitive decks though. And yeah, that'll be all, and I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you can. We've been hitting 15 likes on each video pretty consistently, so let's try and aim for 20. There's already over 400 of you, so I'm very grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you very much for following my channel, for being interested in my videos, and yeah, just wanted to mention that. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.